Hey, what's up, you guys? WyattXM here, everyone's favorite YouTuber who stutters and mispronounces. And today we're going to be doing a very different type of video, which is going to be kind of like a gateway video for some of you guys. And this is getting started with noise, or harsh noise, or power electronics, or whatever other way there is to say this style of music. Now, as you guys know, I love black metal, I love grindcore, and I love post-rock. But one other genre of music, I guess you can call it, that always fascinated me, because I didn't even think it was possible when I was even really diving into a lot of extreme music, was noise. To me, my first experience with noise was Merzbow and Hi Joe Caden, and it really didn't click with me, which, that's really not uncommon, because noise is not really meant for the masses. It's really not something that will ever become big. That's like, you don't have to be a scientist or a music nerd to realize that noise is abrasive, it's hard to listen to, and for the most part, it's kind of like an endurance test just to check it out, to be honest with you. But over the past year or so, I've been knowing about noise and its projects and its artists and whatnot. Even though there's a lot out there, because if you think the metal scene is huge, the noise scene is probably just as big, which is mainly because how I look at it, noise is a very easy subgenre of, or really genre, I guess, of music to create. You don't really need rhythm. You can pretty much use anything in the world to make some type of abrasive-like noise, and there you go, pretty much, for the most part. But there are noise artists out there who do a very professionally done job that is really creative with noise, and that's what's always fascinated me about noise. And how I look at it, there are two ways you can make noise. And the first way, which is the first half of recommendations, is the one where this really isn't my cup of tea for noise. When I say I like noise, it's not because of the way this is done. But the first way noise can be made, how I look at it, is you can have an insanely abrasive, over-the-top, really hard to listen to, endurance test-like style of noise that is just so abrasive it hurts. And one of those artists that does it, that's very acclaimed, is Merzbow. And this dude has never really clicked with me. I will say, though, the things I do like that he does a lot, and that's just putting it lightly, a lot of collaborations. If you look at his discography on Discogs, you're going to need to take a good half an hour out of your day to explore that. It's ridiculous. And it's really cool, all the different artists he does. I could be here forever just naming them all, from Full of Hell to Boris to I think he did one with Sun. I think, don't quote me on it, and many more. And I like how his combination of noise kind of amplifies the other artists and kind of enhances his own sound. So even though I'm not crazy for Merzbow, I'll give it up to him because he knows how to do very great collaborations. But other noise artists that do a very abrasive approach, which again, this really isn't to my liking, but if you're looking for that in noise, and you want an idea of what just absurd, abrasive noise can be, Merzbow's one. The other one is Hi Joe Caden with that track Beyond, which is just ear-crushing. It hurts to listen to. The other one, which is mentally scarring, alright? I thought Max DeCardi and Maurice from Gnaw Their Tongues was terrifying. This honestly feels like I need to stay awake all night because I cannot fall asleep watching some of this shit. Is Tortured Nurse. That is mentally scarring. Like, I almost want to put a warning label over that, which I'm going to in the description. Tortured Nurse, the music video I have for it, is really creepy and very weird. The other one is Bizarre Uproar. This is just esoteric, abrasive noise, simply put, and that's all I gotta say. There's not much to say about it. But that's one. These artists that I know of, at the least, that's one way to make noise. And that's where a lot of people think that's where noise ends. It's abrasive, it's this 20-minute loop of white noise going off with just random other types of noises and sounds that make no sense. And that's understandable because the genre's name is called noise. So what else could you expect? And here's where I feel like you guys, a lot of you extreme metal fans especially, would like the second half of recommendations, because these guys, what I look for in noise is not just abrasive, white noise in a loop. I look for layers, I look for transitions, I look for other subgenres to connect that noise with, to give it substance, give it atmosphere, give it a different tone and approach. And these artists, noise artists right here, I'm going to recommend do it godly, to say the very least. So the first one I will recommend to you, which I feel like he is the best. A lot of people say Merzbow first as like the best recommendation for noise, but I feel like this dude blows away Merzbow, is Dominic from Purient. This dude knows how to make noise in such a very esoteric, it can be breathtaking at other points, it can be very spacey, it can be atmospheric, it can be nightmarish. This dude knows how to play around with noise. To him, how I look at it, noise to him, there is no limits, all right? With any subgenre this guy's played around with industrial, extreme metal every now and then. He plays around with a little bit of black metal, especially his vocals. There's synth. There's a little bit of dark ambience along with ambience. There's, what else does he play with? Drone, electronics, power electronics. You name it, this guy has played around with it in some way, shape, or form. And his discography is like opening up a whole new world. And I've been a fan of him for a while, and I've yet to even scratch the surface in his discography. And I'm loving this dude's work more and more the more I dive into what this guy has created. And it's very versatile, okay? So expect the unexpected with Purient, but know you are going to get some very experimental, very weird at other points, but very creative noise, I feel like. A lot of his collaborations are great. He does EPs, demos, full lengths, you name it. He's done pretty much anything you can do with noise, and it's incredible. My personal favorite, obviously, is the Kitsa and Purient split. But I'll have a link provided to his latest full-length, Niagara Falls. That is 90 minutes of what beautiful yet nightmarish noise and power electronics can do. That album is a masterpiece, to say the very least. And it's a damn shame I really didn't appreciate it at its time of release back in 2015. And another one, I'll have a link to this because I feel like this is one of his best songs he's ever done. It's from the album Pleasure Grounds, and the song Earthworks Buried in Secret. I can't believe I'm saying this. Maybe I'm just a weirdo. But that song for noise and power electronics, to me anyway, is breathtaking. The way he combines these very vibrant, powerful ambience that just shines through all the abrasive, dirty, sharp-edged noise. It's breathtaking to me how he was able to execute that and compose such a song. So I highly recommend Purient if you want to know what noise is capable of, the genre. Another one, and the one right after that, which is insanely similar to Purient, mainly because it's signed to Dominic's label, which is Hospital Productions. And this dude does a lot of work with Dominic, both with the label, collaborations, and a lot of other Dominic's, like, extreme metal bands like Ashpool, is the noise project Alberich. And this guy does very rare appearances live shows, so if you've ever seen him, consider yourself lucky, to say the very least. But he has a very similar formula to Purient, whereas Purient's vocals are more esoteric and black metal fueled with a lot of screams and just agonizing yells. Alberich's vocals tend to be more of an industrial punk, semi-spoken word-like, that kind of comes off more like a choir than a lyrical verse type of way. So it's a little bit different than Purient, but for the most part, it's pretty much almost Purient note for note, to say the very least. Right after that is Pharmacon. I'm pretty sure a few of you guys have heard of her. A lot of YouTubers on here brought her up with her latest full length, which I think is called Contact, which I own. She plays a lot more with synth in that album than noise, and her vocals can be very sweet to the ears at some points, but that woman can yell, and it's nightmarish, to say the very least. So Pharmacon's another great example. The other one, which bear with me on this, because I remember my friend Fred showed me this, and neither of us can even begin to pronounce this artist's name, so please bear with me with this pronunciation, but I'll have the link provided. This is the G. Roger Gegugud, I think. A lot of you extreme metal fans will love this, because it's noise pound for pound, but this guy seems to play around with a very dark version of grindcore, where it gets very esoteric, very fast-paced, but there's still a lot of abrasive noise that is layered upon those subgenres, and it works, and I feel like a lot of you guys would really enjoy that. The other one right after that, the other two are both members of Akitsa, which I'm surprised I never brought this up, but both members of Akitsa, OT and Niant, have their own noise projects. And one of them is by OT himself, which this is also signed to Hospital Productions, and bear with me again, this is in French. This is Ames Sanglintis? Ames Sanglintis? It's in the link. This project is, again, I've noticed these, a lot of noise projects on Hospital Productions seem to have layers, transitions, different subgenres that come in and out with a consistent sound of noise that is layered and kind of hovers above all the tracks and music, and that's what's executed with OT's noise project. And the last one is Nian's project, which is Uno et Tu, I think. I have a few of their tapes, which you can still get at Tortigard. This is a bit more experimental. It's not just noise, but noise seems to be kind of one of the primary subgenres of music in this project. But again, a lot of black metal fans would enjoy it. It sides more with black metal, but more on the dark ambient side of black metal, with a continuous noise that always seems to build up off in the distance. Very similar to Max's stuff with Grim, I guess. I wanted to put that in here, but Grim's more of a dark ambient project than noise project. But Nian's project just seems to make it in my view. And those are, in my view, some of the very few noise projects I've discovered while diving into the vast world of power electronics that you guys might enjoy, because there's some components of extreme metal and a lot of layers of different subgenres that a lot of extreme metal fans look for. They are all scattered around within these projects and their music, and I highly recommend you check out the bottom half of the recommendations if you want what noise is capable of. And I feel like these artists show that noise is more than just noise. The best way to put it. And overall, I just want to say again, Purient is just the easiest one. It's the most accessible noise project I've ever heard. But that being said, it's still very abrasive, to say the very least. But it's the most accessible I've ever heard. So that's it for this video. I just wanted to let you guys know about these noise projects that are very unique and whatnot. And like always, hopefully you guys discovered something new. Thanks for watching, liking, supporting, and subscribing. You guys are the best, and good listens.